Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started a Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. And afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and share their knowledge and experience with you. I hope you enjoy it. Right on, Mel, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Can't complain rather well. The program is going to be focused on three main questions. What do you do for a living? How did you get there? How did you know that this was the way to go? So tell us what you do for a living, please.
Okay. Well, I'm both a fine artist and also an energy healer.
I can
Um,
tell.
yeah. I developed a deck of oracle cards and I work with those. So the deck actually incorporates my artwork and also a little booklet of messages that go with the cards. And I'm not sure if people are going to be able to see this or not, but
If they're not able to see it, you will send me a link and I'll put it in the description below. But yeah,
okay.
please show it
Okay.
up. Show it up
Okay,
so that
so this is my deck. It's called Sacred Journey Medicine Cards. And then there's actually 52 cards, and each card has a different piece of art on the back. And then that corresponds with a little booklet that has a message for each card.
that's pretty interesting. Are you like taking one card per day and to see the message or something, or is it something else?
You can do it that way. The little booklet explains different ways that you can use the cards, but one could be drawn a day, or you could draw three, like to do a more extensive reading, like a past, present, future reading, or even pick cards face up so that you can see what they are and see which ones you're drawn to. And then you could even display the card. I mean, I've actually been an artist all my life, and I've gone to art school a couple of times. I went once in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, when I was young, and then I went again in my 30s when I was pregnant with my daughter. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to ask you because the second question is how did you get there? But I've noticed something else, and I've been doing interviews for quite a while now, and different people from all over the world. I've noticed something about folks that are involved in art, like because I had comedians here, singers, designers, all of them, and I've noticed a common denominator. Folks like you kind of tend to know it because you kind of like drawn to the art. Like for example, I'm the program, the podcast aside, I've always been in the financial department. That's what I've studied. That's what I graduated. That's what I'm always going to be because that's who I am. But folks like you kind of have that natural awareness towards that, and stop me when I'm wrong, of course, because it's not like I'm not wrong every once in a while. But oh, definitely, don't
We
worry about
all
it.
are, believe it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got this kind of like folks that are involved in art are like have this natural awareness towards it. It kind of like pulls them in. I hope I'm making sense, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I can remember my greatest joy, even when I was a small child, was painting and doing different kinds of art projects and crafts and things like that. That was the thing that made me come the most alive. So it's been definitely been with me all my life.
That's pretty good, and at least it's good that you're doing something that you know that it's for you, because and I'm sure that you have noticed that because it's visible lately, especially. That leads me to the third question. I'd like to cover that a little bit more extensively. People tend to go to colleges, universities, and they don't know why they're there. They're there because they have that stigma that you have to have a diploma to secure the future, which is not true. In all fairness, it was never true. Yes, it is an advantage. I'm not arguing. I went to college. I went to university. I'm about to start a PhD in a couple of months. So obviously, I'm not against the institution. However, I'm highlighting the fact that universities are tolerating this kind of behavior either because they need to be subsidized by the government or they need the money or something. And what do we have now? Now we have 22, 3, 4, 5-year-old young adults, because those aren't children anymore. They're young adults fresh out of college or fresh out of university without any skills or minimal skills, and they don't know how to work, they don't have work ethics. And I'm not putting everybody under this line, right? I'm just highlighting that it's noticeable, it's a problem. And now they feel entitled that they own something because they have a diploma, and they're not. Just having a diploma and knowing how to work are two different things. And I don't know if you've noticed that.
Well, I've always had a pretty strong work ethic, I guess, and I don't really enjoy just sitting around and doing nothing. I'm not that kind of person.
Good for you.
I really enjoy my work. I mean, art is not the easiest career, honestly, but I also studied other things. Like I went to massage school and I was a massage therapist for a while, and then after a while I started doing more energy healing, and I actually am
What's
really
energy healing?
energy healing, I mean, it could be called different things. It could be called in sort of the traditional Christian sense, laying on of hands, like
Okay, because when you said energy healing, and then when you said it could be called different things, and I was thinking about whiskey and cola, and I'm almost certain that that's not what you mean.
I meant like you've probably heard of Reiki.
No, I'm not certain. No.
No, you haven't. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm pretty sure that method comes from Japan, and it's a specific method that you can learn. You can go to classes and learn it. Basically, I had a pretty dramatic spiritual awakening when I was fairly young, like 16. And it led me to doing this kind of work. It just kind of came naturally to me without, like you said, going to school or whatever. And initially, when I went to college when I was young, I got a degree in recreation and leisure studies. And I actually didn't really use it that much. I mean, I worked in parks and recreation for a little while, but basically I ended up going into art and massage anyway, even though I had the degree. And then the other thing is I have the experience from being a mother of a now 32-year-old daughter who has not yet gone to college, but she's extremely bright, and she works full time and she enjoys her job. So
I'm pretty sure that, well, I'm totally sure, not pretty sure, that we all have a hidden talent, and one way or another we can unlock it and just use it, and one step after another. I also just want to highlight that you mentioned the trauma when you were 16. Actually, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in the end that turns out to be a good thing, because it unlocked your potential to do art and to be involved in all of this.
right.
Yeah, I really enjoy it when stuff like that happen. Although something might be bad, turns out to be for better. And I talked recently to someone, I don't remember, but I mentioned that from my perspective, COVID was actually a good thing, for those that didn't die, because it kind of forced us to stop a little bit and to stop and to reflect. Because honestly, I don't remember much about the period 2015, 2020. Because my life was so dynamic. Hours became days, weeks, months. Like at some point, in a blink of an eye, 4 or 5 months just passed. And although it's pretty good and generates pretty good results, the KPIs are pretty good for the companies and everything, that's not exactly a good way of living. I love my job, I love my career and everything, but that's not a good way to live. That fast way forward. It's so in a matter. I do believe that although something bad may happen, might be actually for the better.
Yeah, I think it's been that way for a lot of people, although I was kind of already in that mode because I have my own art studio here, and I have a spouse who works full time, and so I was kind of more already into that mode of
well, I am an old school gamer, so my life didn't change at all during the lockdown, because they were like, so you're gonna have to stay at home and work from home and play Assassin's Creed games, and I'm like, yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
So,
It
yeah,
just,
it
it
didn't
really
impact me either.
I mean, I have some neighbors, for example, who had more traditional jobs, and they were doing a lot of baking at one point, and you know, cooking of different kinds that they hadn't been doing before. So some people really got into certain things that they hadn't been doing.
Absolutely. For less, actually, there is a bonus question because you're obviously doing pretty well. And I've been asked to ask that question because people don't often, and I've seen it with my eyes, people don't often find a good balance between work and life. You have a spouse, your daughter's grown up, but you know, she was a child at some point. How did you balance it?
Well, I have to admit that it was challenging when she was younger, and actually some really interesting things happened more recently. I was married to her father, to my daughter's father, and he had a pretty significant disability. He was actually born with cerebral palsy, so he had difficulties with his speech and movement, and he used a wheelchair and all those kind of things. And as it turned out, our marriage didn't last that long, but after it ended and I met my wife, who I've now been with for 25 years, and we became pretty much our daughter's primary parents because her dad had moved back east. Anyway, in I think it was 2020, so it was right in the beginning of the pandemic. There was a director who was working on a movie about this camp for the disabled that my ex-husband had gone to. And so during the pandemic, I got to watch this movie that had him in it. And our daughter was also interviewed in it. And
Nice.
then it ended up being nominated for an Academy Award. And the Obamas picked it up as a film in their Higher Ground production company. So they were the executive producers. Anyway, it just was really fun to be a part of that. But you know, when Emily was younger, especially having gone through this situation with me and her dad, where we divorced pretty early, and I was a single mom for a while, and all of that. It was just it was challenging. You know, it was a challenging journey, and of course now it's very different because she's on
Well,
her
now
own.
you guys are more like friends than mother, and of course you're always going to be mother and daughter. But now you're basically. I'm the same way with my folks.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they asked me a while ago, am I going to get married soon? And I'm like, I'm the only person in that family that didn't have a divorce. You guys don't have the moral high ground to talk to me like that.
Mm,
So definite, but that's it is challenging, and I've noticed that people are a little bit afraid. I
mhm.
don't. I mean, in Europe, because I can talk about Europe because my primary contacts are in Europe, but I don't know. But I'm almost certain that it's like that in the States as well. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, divorce is extremely common. I mean, it happened when I was growing up with my own parents and a lot of my friends, and um, this is my third marriage, but the third one is the charm, just like my daughter, you know. So.
I don't see myself getting a divorce 3 times. I mean, I'm doing well in life, but I don't do that well. Like I don't have that much money. I'm pretty fine now, but I don't have that much for 3 divorces money. That's Jay-Z money. I don't have Jay-Z money.
Yeah, I didn't ever really benefit in that regard, but
I was literally on a date like a couple of months ago. She was a pretty fine girl, good looking girl, intelligent and everything. She literally asked me, when are we getting a divorce, because she was considering a bank loan.
oh my
Are you,
goodness,
are you gonna ask that question on a date?
that's pretty crazy.
But she was straightforward, and I really respected that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's for the end of the program. Again, I'm doing this for the folks that aren't really aware where they're going, why they're going it. Do you happen to have any words of wisdom for those that are developing their careers, that are looking for themselves, that are trying to find themselves? Can you help up a little bit here?
Well, I mean, I would definitely say go with your gut, go with your heart, go with what you're really passionate about, as opposed to what might make you the most money or whatever. Because ultimately, if you're just looking for the income, it's generally not necessarily going to be satisfying unless that is something that just really lights you up. I don't, it's hard for me to say because I've always been very passionate about my work, and it's hard for me to imagine just doing something because it's lucrative. So
100%. And when you said that about the income, I know this one guy, and he's like it's not that the income makes him happy, but making the income makes him happy, if that makes sense. He's in there for the game. He knows he's doing well. He's pretty rich, but he doesn't care about the money. He cares about the winning in general. It's like that. It's always almost like psychosis, by the way. But it's fascinating to see it.
Yeah, well, I think anything can become an addiction, you know, including it's almost like gambling or something.
Yeah, they're rather similar. I never thought about that, but they're pretty on the spot. That said, Mel, huge thanks for being with me. Don't forget to send me the links. I'm going to put them in the description below. And it was a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure talking to you as well. Thank you, Denny.
Right on. Bye. Guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Gap, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.